Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to the new and improved Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. After many years of interviewing the best and brightest thought leaders around the world on my SiriusXM show, I am excited to now have those interviews available to people around the globe on this podcast. So many people would write us and say, I love what I've been hearing about your interviews with these great people. Where can I access them? I live in this country or that country, or I don't have access to that technology. How can I get the information? Well, I'm so excited now that we are able to offer the information and the interviews free on this podcast. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this message and let me know how you like them. And then do me a favor. If you like them, send a review, write a review and post it. And if you like it, hit like on here and share it and tell everybody you know about it, and then subscribe to this podcast so you'll get the alerts when we post a new interview episode. Thank you for listening and enjoy the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
That's right, we only have just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon us, can't refuse it. We didn't seek it, we didn't choose it, but it's up to us to use it. We must suffer. If we lose it, give account. If we abuse it, oh, it's just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. Well, I want to welcome you, wherever you may be, to the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show and podcast. Whether you're listening on radio around the country or maybe overseas on your computer, or whether you're checking us out on the podcast, I am so grateful that you've taken time out of your schedule to listen to this show, because you know I bring the best and the brightest people who have inspired me, empowered me, encouraged me, uplifted me, and I want the same for you. So I'm grateful that I am able to be here and have another great guest today to enhance your life in a mighty way. Now, you know, I start with that minute, and then I take a moment to give God some glory, to give him some praise, to give him some honor, to thank him for all the great gifts that he has blessed me with. No, I'm not just talking about the fact that we've got a show now that's the number one self-help show in the country on this network. No, not just because of the books that are on the bestsellers list and have been. Not just because even in the challenging times, the speaking and doing it virtually with companies all over the globe. I'm grateful for all of that, but no, I'm grateful most of all for life and strength and health and being able to sit here today and be able to be of myself, as the old folks used to say, be of my right mind. So I'm grateful. I'm just grateful. And I give God glory for all that he does, all that he has done. And I'm even giving him glory for what he's going to do, because the best is still yet to come. So I am excited. Now, I want to thank all of you who have sent us notes. Please continue to send us notes and emails and messages and every way you can get to us. Let us know how you're doing. Tell us some of your success stories. Many of you have told me that you've started businesses, that you've increased your net worth, that you've doubled your income, that you've paid off your student loans, you've bought homes because of the information you've learned on this Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways program. So I am very, very glad, and I want to hear more of those. And then also just hit us up and say, hey, how about this kind of show or that kind of show? Because we're always looking to do programming that helps you to do more, be more, and achieve more. We got a new website, winwithwillie.com. Go to winwithwillie.com. All my websites are right there. You can get my faith-based, my youth website, my corporate, our marriage site is there. We got a bunch of sites. We got a bunch of resources right there at winwithwillie.com. So go do that. And then, of course, join us every Monday night at 9 o'clock on Facebook Live for Happily Married Monday with the Jollies with my bride, D. Taylor Jolley, as we talk about your issues as well as the issues we've found that have helped couples from our book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. Well, my guest today, I got a special guest today. This lady is incredible. Now, let's just say that, incredible. She is a world-renowned generational wealth expert. That's why I wanted her on here. She's a world-renowned. She made the decision to attend law school as a second career as a divorced mother of two. And then she went on to keep going after she finished law school to go back and get an LLM. She said something I love. She said, you can't win the game if you don't know the rules. And the rules are the law. You better know the law or know somebody who knows the law so you can win more. She has established the Griffin firm, PLLC, is a business and estate planning firm that is helping people all over America. I kept hearing about her before I actually met her, and I kept hearing, if you want to learn how to make sure you get some real generational wealth established and put into place, you need to know Aimee Griffin. She has been recognized by the Small Business Administration as a Massachusetts and New England small business champion through the development of the New England Black Chambers and the U.S. Black Chambers. By the way, she was the originating attorney to originate the paperwork for the U.S. Black Chamber, and she's very active with them now. She also is active with the American Bar Association, the National Bar Association, and she is a member of good standing, I can attest, because I know her pastor, of Kingdom Fellowship AME Church, where she's also involved with that church and all the things they're doing. I could go on, but I want to get her on because I want her to tell the rest of the story. She's got a tremendous story, and I want to hear her. Aimee, are you with me?
I'm right here with you, Dr. Jolley.
Well, it's good to have you on. I gave them the kind of thumbnail sketch about you and where you come from, but why don't you tell us a little more about where you come from and how you got to even go to law school? Tell us that story.
So I first come from the fact that I have two parents, my mom passed away, two parents who were community activists. We were raised that when you see a need, you meet the need, right?
Yes.
I had a good government job, as we say.
Yes.
And I was overseeing contracting and procurement for a state agency in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And as you see that, I could see that black folks wasn't ever going to get any contracts.
Right.
Or very few. But you can't win the game if you don't know the rules. At 40, I went to law school. Worked in the daytime, went to law school at night. My two kids, God bless them, had to sit by and we just did this thing together.
Wow.
Because we had to figure out how do we help make a change. You see the need, you got to make a change. So we did this. And so I didn't do it by myself. My children were right there with me. I'm through my torts class, property classes. How do we make sure that people can create, protect, and transfer wealth? After graduating from law school, created the New England Black Chamber of Commerce. And it was, we got to do entrepreneurship. It's not just enough to get a job, and because we know black folks in the United States get 70 cents on a dollar, what our white counterparts make. But if we are able to create jobs, we can hire and pay what we deserve.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So that's what we did. But then, let me tell you, so we were doing that. We were building businesses. But what I realized is that when people built their business and they had, they were making money, they were building stuff, buying stuff. But when they passed away, if they didn't have their stuff together, all that would have been lost. And I was seeing it lost right and left. And so, okay, this is a problem. We are building temporally. Right.
Say that
So
again.
went
We're
back to law
building
school.
temporally. Now that's a legal phrase for you building it for the short term and not the long term.
And we know that it's not nothing if your kids don't benefit. Now,
Right.
it's not just being a Christian, knowing that it says that a good man leaves an inheritance not for their children, but their children's children. That's true legacy building.
That's right.
And in order to do that, we got to be strategic. We
Yes.
got to be thoughtful. We got to have a plan. And that's why I went back to law school.
Again, after you finish law school.
That's right. That's right.
So you
It wasn't
finish
just
law
enough.
school. So you're 40. You let me make sure people get this. You're a married woman. You're working a government job. You and your
Oh,
husband.
no. I'm a divorced woman.
No.
at this time.
You're a married woman. You're working a government job. You get divorced, okay, with
Yes.
2 children, okay. Now you got the 2 children you're raising. You're saying, okay, this is not quite going to work in the long run. I got some bigger things that I could do. And then you go back to law school as a divorced mother with 2 children, going to work all day, going to school at night, and then doing all of these classes and homework. And I'm telling you, law school, my son went as a full-time student, and it was hard. So I can just imagine if you working all day and then going to school, and then you finally finish, you got to pass the bar. Now let me tell you, from my experience, when my son was preparing for the bar, everybody told us the same thing: just feed him and don't bother him. Just feed them, have food, and don't bother them because it's really hard. Well, you go in and you pass the bar, you start working as an attorney, and then you realize even then that there's a problem in our community with people who are working hard, entrepreneurs, building income, revenues, and they're calling it generational wealth, but it's not. It's not really generational wealth. It's maybe you leave them a house, or you maybe leave them a car, or you maybe leave them some money in the bank, but it don't get to the children's children. It don't get to them. It ends a lot longer sooner. And we find that if you don't set up a system, people end up fighting each other and family. You see it all the time, Amy. So anyway, you go back to school. You get your LLM. For those who don't know, that's like a doctoral degree in law. Okay, that's like the highest high you can get, and then you start helping people set up real generational wealth systems. Girl, I applaud you. I just gotta applaud you. I will come now. Let's circle back. You now though. You got you a good husband. Come on, go ahead, tell everybody. Why you? Every time I call, I say, "How you doing? How's your hubby?" And what do you say? Tell me that. What you say?
He's amazing.
That's what she said.
Amazing.
She says that every time. He's amazing. He is amazing. Well, God bless you. Congratulations. And now I think the children are both adults now, aren't they not?
Yes, my daughter's an attorney as well.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And you got a grandchild, if I remember correctly.
I do. I have 2 grandchildren.
Okay.
2 granddaughters.
All right.
Yes, praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. Okay. So
it allows me to put in action that which I teach.
Amen. Amen. So, folks, here's what I want to do. I want y'all to pull out your pads, your pencils, your pieces of paper, your phones, your iPads, your computer keys, because I'm going to ask Amy to just lay it out for you. I mean, I'm just going to tell her why it's important that you set up your will correctly. Why it's important. Many people don't want to talk about it. Let me tell you something about life I learned. Nobody get out of life alive, okay? Nobody. So one day, all of us are going to leave here. But when we do we want a hot mess, or do we want something that is smooth, collected, put together, and to your wishes, to the T? And everybody is understanding that, as well as that you leave a legacy that can get 4, 5, 6, 10 generations down the road. She'll help you do that. If you want real generational wealth, pull out your pad and pencil. I'm going to be right back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, my special guest attorney Aimee Griffin. And for sure, your best is still yet to come. We'll be right back. Afraid of flying, I always kept my dreams on the ground. Life had enough ups and downs, but Lord, since I met you, all that's changed in the blink of... Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered why some people can make $1 million, lose it, make a second million, lose that, then make a third million, while other people can't even make ends meet? Well, the reason is that those people know the recipe for success. And that recipe is available to everyone if you will do what they did. They made a habit of getting positive, motivational resources of great thinkers and great learners. And I want to offer those same kind of resources to you. We've developed a free page on my website. It's wjspeaks.com/gift. wjspeaks.com/gift. On that site, we've got resources, books, audios that help you to grow, and they're free. So go to wjspeaks.com/gift, wjspeaks.com/gift, and get some of those resources, and then share that page with your friends and your family members. We want to impact and inspire millions of people. And remember, if you enjoy this message on this podcast, like it, share it, and post a review about it, and make a difference in the lives of others by letting them know about it. Have a great day. This is Dr. Willie Jolley.
A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude.
And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And I have a special guest. Her name is attorney Aimee Griffin. She's the founder, CEO, the principal at the Griffin Law Firm. And I believe you have offices in a number of cities, do you not, Aimee?
So now we are focused on the district DMV.
Okay.
So we're
But
a couple of offices in Maryland, D.C., and Virginia.
Okay, but you did have one in Atlanta at one time, I believe, or?
We had one in Atlanta as well as in North Carolina, but COVID has compelled us to constrict.
I got you. That makes sense. Makes sense in this day and time. So, folks, if you didn't hear her introduction, she has helped many people get real deal generational wealth established. She is an expert in creating generational wealth by making sure you have a clear, focused, exceptional estate plan put in place, so that you are not running to wills.com trying to put it together yourself, or you calling your cousin who took a law class one time and say, hey, can you do a will for me? And then when you go on to be with the Lord, it's nothing but a hot mess. People hollering and screaming. You know, we've seen, everybody knows, families that break up when somebody dies. Big mama died and the family falls apart because no one was willing to talk about the inevitable. And they weren't willing to talk about what do you do with the resources that have been generated. We've had people who've generated millions and millions and millions of dollars to see it squandered in the first generation after they die. In fact, my friend Mike Roberts, the great billionaire who y'all know have been on this show before, Mike says that research shows that the third generation typically squanders the wealth. Now, I said, what do you mean by that? He said, well, the first generation work hard to make the money. Second generation typically sees their parents working hard, the long hours, and often they'll go into business, or at least they respect what their parents did because they saw the toil and the work. But the third generation, who is wealthy, they grew up. When they popped out and there was a Mercedes there. And they popped out and they were in a big house. And so they've always seen good life. And he gave an example. Paris Hilton. Conrad Hilton worked hard to create the Hilton hotels. His son took it over, worked hard, but his son didn't have to work like his daddy had to scrounge and claw. So his son was able to have the Mercedes, the mansions, the other things. So Paris, all she had to do was have a little dog. A little dog and a little, and you squander the wealth, and we've seen that over and over again. So, Aimee Griffin, thank you for being with us. I could go on and on all her accomplishments, but she is the preeminent expert on estate planning in America, and specifically for African Americans, but she does it for everybody. But specifically, because we saw for so many years, African Americans did not have that part of their legacy set up. So, Aimee, tell us why we need to do it, and how they need to do it, and what are the benefits.
So one of the things that I encourage people to think about first and foremost is, I hear so many times people say, I don't do it because I don't have anything. Right. And I say to folks, first of all, you have a life to protect.
Right.
So if indeed you are appreciative of your life, let's build those things around it to make it special, right?
Yes.
So if you have a life, you can do a life insurance policy. That can be the blessing for your children and your children's children.
Say that. Stop right there. Say that again. Say that again, because people sometimes will blow by the way, I don't have anything, and yet we know of I've studied some cultures where they buy a life insurance policy for somebody, maybe the oldest member, that is then redeemed, that impacts everybody else for generations. Just go ahead, Aimee. You cooking now.
Even with that.
Yeah.
Well, even with that, what I tell people is buy a life insurance policy for as much as you can for your grandchildren.
Yes.
As soon as they are born. As soon as they are born. One of the things that I learned a few years ago, which I try to tell everybody, is when your grandchild is born, if you could buy $1 million life insurance policy and put it in the trust, right? Then when we have to get the kind that you can borrow against, and when they are in college age, they can borrow. Let's say we got $1 million policy and they borrowed $400,000 to go to college. Then we'll say a few years later they borrowed $100,000 to pay for to pay for a down payment for a house. Then they borrowed $500,000, but they don't have to pay it back.
Wow!
But when they pass away, $500,000 goes back into the trust for the next generation.
Woo!
Right?
Oh my God! Oh, folks, did y'all hear that? Say that again, Aimee. That is a plan right there. Just say it again.
Right. Again, if we just think about having grandchildren, that we buy $1 million policy, because it's cheap when they're brand new.
That's right.
It's cheap. So if indeed you are able to buy as much as you can, I'm just going to give an example for $1 million. Then your grandchildren borrow for college. Now, mind you, you don't borrow from them to get a Tesla.
Nope.
You don't borrow from it to go on vacation, but they borrow from it to go to college. So they come out with no student loans. How about that?
Yep.
Then we borrow more to put down payment on a house, right?
Yep.
Now, mind you, it's just a down payment, so they still have to qualify. They still have to give good credit. We are incentivizing our values, so it's about creating capacity, right, for our children's children. So we borrowed another $100,000 when they pass away, because they borrowed, but they didn't pay it back.
Right.
The difference between the value of the life insurance policy for $1 million minus that $500,000 that they borrowed and used wisely but didn't pay back is $500,000 that goes into the trust again, so that builds for the next generation.
Okay, now
right?
mind
you,
yeah. Go ahead.
And a cool thing about that is that when you fill out your financial aid form, because it's in my trust, it doesn't count.
Wow. Now, one other thing that you as the grandparent or parent, whoever you want to do, could do, so make sure that they don't get that Tesla, or you can have it written into the trust that this is how it can be divvied out, and only this. Am I right, Demi?
Right. The trust is a rule book. Right. It is a rule book. You say exactly. Not only, my thing is, you don't just say you go to college. You say you go to college and you satisfactorily progress, because you ain't blowing up my money. Right?
Come on now.
You are making sure that there is satisfactory progression. If you don't get the GPA, we get you a tutor. But we're not playing around with just like, this is not just a party. This is building you up for greater capacity so that you can handle the wealth that's being passed on, and you're building it greater.
Wow. Okay. So, wow. Okay, folks, y'all understand this, that you can establish in writing a rule book for your future. You won't even have to be there. You know, I often say that a wise person doesn't just plant a tree, but they plant a tree that they might not ever sit under, but they plant a tree for future generations. Someone asked me years ago on a TV show, and this is one of the reasons why I sought out Aimee Griffin, was I went on a TV show and they said, Willie Jolley, what's your biggest goal? I said, my biggest goal is that 100 years from now, some child will walk into a room and see a picture of me and my wife, run up to it and kiss it and say, thank you, great, 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 great granddaddy, great, 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 great grandmama, for what y'all did that made it possible for us to have a home, a business, an income, a revenue stream. You set it up. You know, we look at the Kennedys, the Carnegies, the Rockefellers. They have,
the Rockefellers.
That's right,
exactly.
Generational wealth where their children's great-grandchildren are still being blessed by the work that the patriarchs did generations ago. And so Aimee helps you establish that. And I've never found anybody who thinks like her. I have sat with her. I said, my God, where does she get these ideas, this thought? I had never thought of it because I've been talking about generational wealth. I wanted that, but how do I get it so that my son I'm pretty comfortable about? But how about his children? I might meet him, I might not. He's not married yet. I hope to meet him, and I hope to inspire them with my values and what it takes, hard work. But what if I don't? What happens then? Well, Aimee said, we can handle that. We can take care of that. And when she laid it out, I had never heard it. Okay, now let's keep going. Why is it so important to have this will? Because people say I can't do it because I don't have nothing, or I got a little something, or whatever. Why is it so critical?
One of the things that we say, little becomes much if you plan, right?
That's
and
great.
One of the greatest examples that we have was a woman named Osceola McCurdy in Mississippi. And she was a laundress. I'm telling you, she did not make a whole lot of money, but she was frugal and she was smart. And she was committed, right? And she was a laundry woman. She dropped out of school at primary school. But because she had an estate plan, and was frugal and invested her money. Now, let me just say, you don't just put it underneath the mattress.
No.
She had an investment. And with that, she was able to leave $150,000 to the University of Southern Mississippi in an irrevocable trust.
Wow.
Right? And I will say, all the folks who listen to you, Dr. Jolley, we know, make more than money than this laundress made.
Right.
But instead, we do a lot of stuff like Prince, who didn't do anything.
Wow.
Aretha. Hand wrote her will, right? Hand wrote a few wills. And so, as a result, it was just a mess.
And it continued to be a mess. Am I right? I mean, even now.
Absolutely.
Look, we got to take a quick break. We're going to come back, folks. I'm telling you, she's giving you ideas that can transform, and I want y'all to know how to reach her, too. So we'll be right back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. We're going to take a quick break for station identification, but you're listening to the Willie Jolley Show here, and this is your show. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I got an email from a gentleman in Australia who shared how he had been struggling in his business, and he bought some of my books and audios, and how it had a profound impact on his business, and he went from worst to first in his company. I shared with him how much I appreciated his note, but I told him those books, those audios, those videos were not just something that I just thought up one day and started to write. They were born out of my experiences, out of the challenges of overcoming the problems and the difficulties and how I was able to do it. And I shared with him that others have sent similar messages and that these resources work. I want to encourage you and invite you to go to my store. Go to wjspeaks.com/shop. wjspeaks.com/shop. Get some of the books. It only takes a minute to change your life. Or a setback is a setup for a comeback. Or turn setbacks into greenbacks. Or chicken soup for the soul. Or an attitude of excellence. Or the book I wrote with my wife after 34 years of being married and not having an argument in over 30 years. We wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. And now it is saving marriages all over the globe. Go to the store. Get some of the audios, the videos, the books, the resources to help you have greater personal and professional success. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Make this a great day on purpose. And we're back. I got Aimee Griffin, and she's going to give you more. By the way, before we go any further, I want you to know that Aimee, in addition to being one of the leading estate attorneys in America, as well as generational wealth experts in America. She also speaks, and she speaks to groups via internet or Zoom and does all of that. Or when we get back to not having a pandemic, that she also can do it live. But she's in demand all over the country, helping people to grow their wealth. Aimee, where can people reach you?
So our website is yourestateplanningattorney.com.
yourestateplanningattorney.com. Excellent. Okay. And they can reach you there and just get whatever they need and reach your team.
You can schedule an appointment there. You can sign up for a workshop. We have free workshops there.
Wow.
Yes.
Yep. Right. Great. So yourestateplanningattorney.com. And let me recommend, Dee and I, when I met her, we set up a time to go and meet her, and were blown away. Blown away. My wife is probably the toughest financial person. She's had financial planning, quote, air quotes, experts come by and meet her. They leave with their tails between their legs. She eats them up and spits them out. But when she left there, she said, "This woman is amazing. This is who we've got to have our estate planning established with," because she had ideas I had never heard about before. And I thought I was pretty good. I had read a lot, nothing like what she had, because she is not just an attorney. She is a high level LLM attorney on this specific. She doesn't do anything else. She don't go there. You had a car accident. She'll call you. All right. You tell her about creating generational wealth. Okay, Aimee, keep going. Tell people, we've talked about why you should have a will, because it established. Tell us more of some of the things that people need to know and why it's so critical.
Well, let me tell you one of the things. When we say we need to have a will, that's the start. And I say we should have our first will or our estate plan at the age of 18, because that's when you're a grown-up, right? That's when we are an adult. But let's be thinking about what an estate plan does. It answers three questions. The first one is what happens when we die, and we think about that, and that sort of freaks us out, and we stop there. But the second part is, what happens if I can't make decisions for myself? Being thoughtful about incapacity, right? Because we never know what circumstance and situation we'll find ourselves in. So we have to plan for that. But my most exciting part, and this is why I love the work that I do, is what's the legacy that you want to leave, right? Now, that's when we work in the trust. That's when we build out capacity. Now, so often, it is one of those things that it's like when you have one kid and you have one house, two kids and you have one house, and
right.
you leave both kids the house.
Yep.
Now, you can't cut the house in half.
Yep.
Right? So what happens is, typically, you put two kids' names on it, and somebody's kid, one of the kids' spouse will say that we need to sell that house.
Right.
We know foundationally that real estate is a great builder of wealth, right?
Right.
Because real estate appreciates, cash evaporates.
Say that again. Say it again. Say it one more time so people can hear that.
So, real estate appreciates, cash evaporates.
Yes, it does.
And we know, as one of the ways in which the institutional racism has been so real is they've been denying black folks access to property for decades. The GI Bill, after slavery, folks weren't allowed to own property. That's a way to maintain that oppression, right?
Right.
So, if we are thoughtful about how do we preserve and protect all the property that we have, we need to be thoughtful. So adding two kids' names to one house means that the chances are great the house is going to have to be sold because somebody's going to need an extra dollar sometime.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so if we are thoughtful, we can put a house in a trust. And therefore, let me tell you, in my case, my house is in a trust. And so we have a couple of houses in the DMV. When we die, 50% will go back, and the house becomes rental income, right? Income-producing property.
Right.
The property, at the end of each year, 50% of the profit goes back into the trust to build up, right? To build up the principal.
Yep.
25% gets distributed to the kids that I like. And then 25%.
Oh, stop that. Say it again. To the kids I wanted to make sure y'all didn't go by you. It goes to the kids that she likes, okay, or we like.
Right.
That's
What?
right.
I keep reminding my children that, just because you're born now don't mean that you still get in case they don't act right?
That's
so
right.
Make sure they continue.
And that's the truth, folks, because some folks do, you see the patterns over and over. We've got family members that if you gave them $1 million, they spend 1.2. I mean, that's just how they are. And we all know have family members like that. So, okay, so half goes back into the trust. A quarter goes to the kids you like.
Principal. Uh-huh. And then 25% goes to incentivize the values that I have for them, right? So it's like entrepreneurship, wealth creation, all of those things can go back into into my children and my loved ones, my kids and my grandkids.
Right.
Like for me, it's each grandchild. That's part of that money is to buy that life insurance policy. Right. So I'm taking care of it. It's not that they have to make sure that my kids have to make sure they can pay for it because my trust will cover it. But my trust has rules that I get to put in place and they get to stay in place.
Wow. And that's the difference between a revocable and an irrevocable. You were explaining to me one time, and I was tracking. It's a whole lot. There's a whole lot of little pieces.
Me and D got to talk, right?
Yeah, you and D were talking about it. I had zoned out.
So there are two major categories. The revocable trust is an extension of me, right? The purpose of it is to avoid probate. Because probate is a lawsuit that you take out against yourself that goes through the court when you die to make sure the people that you love have your stuff. Now, we can avoid probate, and I encourage people as often as I can, avoid the probate process. Right?
And some people, you know what? And I just take a moment. Some people think because they've heard bad information and did not know a person like you, they think there's no way to avoid it. Okay, that's first of all. So you say you can avoid it, and if you can, do so. And go ahead, Aimee.
Well, you can just choose to do so.
Right.
It's like one of the things that we look at. One of my favorite artists of all time was Prince.
Right.
Right. And he didn't do anything. And 370. Listen to me. $370 million was paid in taxes because he didn't do anything.
370 million?
Million.
Wow.
Paid in taxes.
Wow.
Right? No. And I tell people, I always say to folks, that's Dr. Jolley's circle, right? So when we planned with people like that, it's like we say, don't you want to give to charity anything that would have gone to taxes?
Right.
A stroke of a pen, we could have made a huge difference and paid no taxes whatsoever.
Wow.
So, actually, we were talking about the revocable and irrevocable taxes.
Yes.
I mean, a trust. Irrevocable trust is like an asset protection trust. We are able to, in essence, shelter stuff. It's a lot like a LLC, but there's a whole bunch of categories of irrevocable trust. One is a dynasty trust in Delaware. I have a number of folks where we create a trust in Delaware. We put their asset appreciating things in there. So let's say some of the corporations and businesses that are in a dynasty trust in Delaware does two things. One of which is make sure that my kids get all that I want for them and not their spouses, no matter what. And let's say I put a business in the dynasty trust. There's no income tax on it, no state income tax on it.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
so
I
those
think
are the
it's
things that we
powerful
figure out.
what you said, that money that we avoid those taxes that are avoidable. Many people don't think they are, but they are avoidable. And many wealthy people understand that, how you put them in trust to avoid having to pay the tax, so that money could go to philanthropic. You could put it to your church. Many people would love to be able to say, I left my church an endowment for scholarships, but they don't know how to do it, and the money just floats away like willow wings, and because they didn't know how. And they need a Aimee Griffin to be able to say, I can help you to, even though you might say you don't have much, I can help you to get much even after you're gone. Come on, somebody.
That's right.
That's the truth.
That's so right.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Okay, so you continue to go ahead and give them some more, because you got so much. Every time I go there, my mind is blown how you have all these little just like little tentacles from the regular will or the regular estate plan that you say, now if you do this and you sit down. Let me tell you something, folks. She said something earlier. I want to make sure she said that you must ask yourself, what's the legacy you want to leave? Because believe it or not, that's hard thinking. That's hard thinking, to think 50 years, 100 years, really, really in the future. And when we started doing that exercise, it was difficult to say, I haven't met this child who will be my grandchild's great-grandchild. I will never meet them, but I want them to have a good life. I want them to have a good education. I want them to be good students, good business people, to be good citizens. And you can establish that. Am I right, Aimee?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is, it just takes the thought, just takes the energy. And the thing is, it's not, you don't have to be a gazillionaire to make it happen. You just have to make the commitment to make it happen. Little becomes much if we just start where we are.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So you start where you are, no matter where. Did you notice, folks, she said earlier, at 18, because my wife listened to her, and she said we need to get a life insurance policy on our son who's not married, has no children. And now the old me would have said, why are we doing that? But she said, listen what Aimee's thinking was. And it was so clear, so concise, that We said, right. You know what? You're absolutely right. She made it make sense. So look, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We got one more segment with Aimee. And I want to, again, encourage you to take out more pad and pencil because we got more information to help you create long-term, generational, multi-generational wealth. This is Dr. Willie Jolley and the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And for sure, your best is still yet to come. We'll be right back.
Pick up the phone and just call on me.
Friendship is not about being convenient. It's about being committed and consistent.
You can call on me.
When you need me,
Call me. You can call on me.
call me.
You can call on me.
Pick up the phone
You can call
and call me.
If you need me, you can
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and people often ask, how did I go from a broke, busted nightclub singer to become a best-selling author and to be voted one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by the 175,000 members of Toastmasters International? The answer is that I decided to invest and change my thinking, invest in my mindset, and decided to change my inputs because inputs determine outputs. I heard about a seminar years ago when I was just getting started. I was making about $100 a speech. And I heard this seminar that was creating millionaires, and it cost $10,000, but the guy was getting results. I didn't have that kind of money, but I decided to borrow it because I learned that there's a price for success, the price of college, the price of going to school, the price of education. And there's a price for success, and then there's a cost for not paying the price, the cost of staying the same. And that cost is greater than the price. It's too expensive. And so I went and it changed my life. And I came back and quickly made $100,000. I heard a similar story from Dr. Dave Martin, how he went to a success rally, heard a speaker who inspired him. He and his friend said, wow, that's changed my life. The speaker had a package of materials to help build wealth. The package cost $1,500. And that was all the money Dr. Dave had to his name. Dr. Dave's friend asked, do you think this stuff is worth it? Dr. Dave thought for a moment. He said, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. But I do know that I'm worth it. I'm worth it. He invested that money in that package and used the materials to grow his thinking. He grew his mindset. He shared how that $1,500 investment has gone on to generate millions in revenues. He's a multimillionaire. And he has homes now in Arizona and Florida. I want to say to you, it's time to invest in you. I want to give you some materials that will help you, grow your mindset, grow your future, grow your finances. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire. wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get some materials that will inspire your success and help you find that there's a price for success, but there's a cost for not paying the price. And the cost is always greater than the price. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire and get the bag, the box, or any of the materials there and keep growing your wealth. And remember, as a man thinketh, so as he is, and your best is yet to come. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and we are talking about generational wealth. Now, for so many people, we hear them talk about generational wealth. I want to have generational wealth. But most people not really understanding what real generational wealth is. First of all, they often confuse being rich with being wealthy. We'll talk about that later because that's a whole nother, that could take a whole hour. But then generational wealth, that there is actually some wealth for generation beyond the first one that comes. And my guest is the preeminent estate generational wealth expert in America, attorney Aimee Griffin, the founder, CEO of the Griffin Law Firm. Again, Aimee, where can people reach you? Because I know that a lot of people are going to want to say, I got to have a conversation with that lady. I got to get her to hook this up because I do not want to leave here and have that drama after I'm gone at the some people started right at the funeral home. They just started right there and it goes on. Tell them where to reach you.
So our phone number is 855-574-8481. But if you want to check us out on the internet, it's yourestateplanningattorney.com, or the Griffin Firm PLLC on Facebook.
I love that. So 855-574-8481, yourestateplanningattorney.com, or the Griffin Firm on Facebook.
The Griffin Firm PLLC.
PLLC on Facebook. Great. All right, Aimee, tell them what they need to know. I mean, this is just for Lottie Dottie and everybody that is building a business. We got a lot of entrepreneurs, small business people who listen to this, as well as we've got a lot of executives who make this weekly listening. Tell them what they need to know about generational wealth and creating a plan and a program to make it happen.
Well, one of the things that you actually mentioned that I wanted to be mindful of, making sure that our business owners know that it's not just their personal stuff, and don't overlook their business. We at the Griffin Firm talk about the 5 Ds of succession planning. What happens for disability, divorce, departure, dissolution, and death. We need to have a plan, right? And there are ways to walk away.
Give those 5 Ds one more time, please.
Disability, divorce, now not just yours, but your children and or business partners, disability, divorce, departure, when you want to leave, how you want to leave, dissolution, how do you want to dissolve your business, and death. We need to be planning for all 5 of those Ds to make sure that your business succeeds the way you want it to, right?
Yep.
We have spent more time, like I said, we go to court unnecessarily because people don't plan. And I will tell you, I know that, we hear about the people, the Aretha Franklin and family in court over big dollars. I will tell you that we've gone to court to fight over cases where it's very little money. But families are broken up over the expectation, right? And people don't speak to each other for a very little money. We need to be thinking about the people that we care about. We know that grief and greed are 2 Gs that drive a whole lot of confusion.
Woo! That's the truth.
If we are right, so we can make the difference for the people that we love, and we need to make the difference, right? If our legacy is about building that next generation stronger, we need to take the steps to do it.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. So, what steps they need to take? What are the here's how you get, here the how you got us. Here the you got us. Let me tell you what you got to do.
Well, first and foremost, I say this boldly, that I'd love you to call the Griffin Firm PLLC, but if not, call an estate planning attorney. Don't, as Dr. Jolley said, don't go to any old body who has a shingle up.
Right.
When you go to their website, if they're a solopreneur and they got 8 different things that they do, they're not the one. Right?
Yep.
Go to someone who really knows estate planning, wealth creation. That's all we do all day, right? All we do all day, every day, is how do we support people to create, protect, and transfer wealth. We are thoughtful. We are strategic. We think about who is it going to be who's going to raise your children if you can't raise them for yourself? And is that same person the right person who's going to manage their money? Do you have a trust and a trust protector? We have created a village approach to raising children, being thoughtful about how do we plan for not just who's going to raise them, but what are the guidelines? We create a child development plan to be thoughtful about how do we invest in our children in such a way that, as Dr. Jolley talked about earlier, that 3rd generation who has been relatively entitled, how do we make sure that they have the values that you have in creating the wealth, that they can build it? It's not just enough to say, here you go, we've made the life easy for you. We've paved the way so you don't have to work so hard. That's not what we want for our children. We want them to be able to be great community contributors as well, and as well as preserve the assets that we have, right? Preserve and protect and grow the assets. Now, one of the things that's really important in thinking about, I want to talk about two more things that I want to make sure that you are mindful about, is special needs trust. Now, I honestly believe that we all have special needs. We're all a little special.
Right, we're all a
all
little special.
different.
Yep.
We're all different. But if our loved one has receives benefits based on a governmental determination that they have limited assets or limited income, we need to be very thoughtful about how do we leave them something, right?
Yes.
We care about our loved ones. We want them to have a better quality of life, but we can't just leave them. We have to plan for them. We have to make sure that we don't just give them cash, because then they could be thrown off their governmental benefits. Instead of being a blessing, where it's a curse.
Right.
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 So we got to figure out how do we support our loved ones, and that requires thinking. That requires planning. We need to make that happen. Right. So, and when we do that wealth creation, we need to be creating the supplemental needs trust. That is approved by the Attorney General. So that's why I say you can't just go to anybody.
Right.
You need to go to somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Because what happens is they might not know that. And there might be a great attorney in one space. Great, the best, brilliant. But those little fine points about the little things that could make a big difference that she was willing and able to share with us. I said, I had no idea. And we're looking at, well, we wanted to create generational wealth. How do we do it? And she gave me a plan, and my wife a plan that blew our mind. We said, wow, we can be gone and that will still be established. We could be beyond my son's life or his children's life, or I got grandchildren beyond their lives. And it's still, the plan is set up and can be executed because we had the forethought to hire a person like Aimee Griffin. I'm just honored to be able to know you, because I thought I had learned a lot over the years. And Dee, as I said, she studies everything. She came out and said, this woman is phenomenal. And so I'm just glad I was able to get you on the show to get some of your time, because she's busy. She got husband, children, grandchildren, and she works like a beaver at her church, is giving back to God. And so she's got the U.S. Black Chamber. She's got all of these other events. And yet all the big wheeler dealers, big baller shot callers are calling her, as well as the ladies like that lady who gave that trust $150,000 after being a cleaning woman, because she was wise enough to call someone like Aimee Griffin and say, I got a little something. As the old folks used to say, I got a little something. And I wanted to do well. Aimee, again, where can people reach you?
At 855-574-8481, or our website is yourestateplanningattorney.com. And we're on Facebook at The Griffin Firm, PLLC.com.
Excellent. Folks, I'm telling you, this is a personal endorsement. You know, I don't give them often, but this is a personal endorsement that I want to endorse her services, because I've never found anybody quite like her to do what she has done and what she knows. She is the best I've ever found, because this is all she does, and she does it with a spirit of excellence, and all the people are excellent. Aimee Griffin, thank you for being my guest and sharing your expertise and your intellect and your wisdom. I appreciate you. Keep giving God the glory. I know you're going to do that.
You know, that's right.
And give that amazing husband a big hug and love. Folks, you've been listening to the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show. I want you to go to Win with Willie, my new website. You can get the marriage site there, the faith-based site. And remember to sign up for the newsletter so you'll get ongoing information to keep you fired up as we go to win in the next few years, because we know that the best is still yet to come. God bless you. Have a great week on purpose, and thank you for your time. Good night.
Are you tired of crying and complaining? Tired of feeling like life don't treat you fair? you're steady going nowhere. Have you maybe come to the conclusion that there's nothing at all that you can do? Well, just look in any mirror and you'll see who is really truly stopping you. My, my, my. It's up to every one of us to take charge of our life and to make it what we want. If you think that it takes too much time, think again, 'cause I'm telling you it don't. The fact is, it only takes a minute to make up your mind that now is your time to make your run. It only takes a minute, 60 seconds to begin to decide to win. Just get it on. Just get it on. Start it off by checking your frustration. Scream out loud that you had it up to here. Get yourself so fired up to change.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and I hope you got something of great value. And I hope that you were inspired, you were motivated, you were empowered, and you were encouraged to live your best life. I hope this information and this inspiration will help you to do more, be more, and to achieve more. That's the goal why I started this program, and I hope it helped you in a mighty way. Now, I ask you to make sure and that you take full advantage of all the resources that came through this program. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/gift and get some of the free resources that we have there for you. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/shop to get some of the books that we have created, that we've labored over to make sure that they will deliver a powerful message to you. I hope you go to williejolly.com/billionaire. williejolly.com/billionaire or wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get the box that it will inspire your whole family, or get the bag of books. Make this a great day, a great week, a great month, and remember, it is true that you are blessed and all things are possible for them that believe. So make the most of the belief that you have now in your future. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.